So it could be 1727 now?
It just could be. What if nearly 300 years of history never happened? Stay with me. In 1991, a German historian named Hermann Illig proposed something that shakes the very foundation of time itself, the phantom time hypothesis. His claim? The years 614 to 911 AD were completely fabricated. They don't exist. They were inserted into history, and we've been living in a false timeline ever since. Now, who would do this? And why? Enter Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. Three powerful figures who supposedly conspired to alter historical records and manipulate the calendar. Why? Because Otto III wanted to rule in the symbolic year 1000 AD, a number that carries power, prophecy, and legitimacy. But instead of waiting, they fast-forwarded history itself. Now, think about this. We have written records from this missing period, sure. But where are the artifacts, the architecture, the undeniable physical proof? You'd expect 297 years to leave more behind, yet it's eerily scarce. And if this sounds impossible, just remember, Tartaria was erased from history. If they can erase entire civilizations, why not rewrite time itself?
This is just a theory, not a fact.
The astonishing thing is the so-called Pinkerton world map, drawn, I think, in 1813, based on the latest exploration data at that time. And it just shows a hole where Antarctica is. Nobody had found it by then. But if you go back to the Orontius Phineas map, drawn in the 1500s, you find Antarctica is present. Now, what the fuck is it doing on a map drawn in the 1500s when nobody knew it existed in the 1500s? To me, the obvious answer is we are dealing with the fingerprints of the lost civilization that mapped the world and that left evidence of that mapping. We have evidence that somebody, unrecognized by archaeology, had the capacity to explore the world and to map the world during the last ice age.
History has been lying to us. There was a civilization called the Tartaria Empire that was far superior and more sophisticated than we could ever imagine. They were able to use the atmospheric energy to obtain electricity, and by having free energy, they were able to focus on more pressing and more important endeavors, such as creativity, love, and self-development. Their advancements influenced great feats and built vast cities and infrastructure all over the world. However, due to the rise in the influence of the civilization, it was said that they were systematically destroyed, with their buildings knocked down and technological advancements erased from our history books by oppressors to keep us all enslaved and in check. That's why many people say that.
I'm telling you, they're not moving. They're staying stationary. They're hovering.
They kind of look wide too.
Look at the lights changing.
It is moving.
No, it's not.
It looks like it.
Yeah, but they're not moving. That's an airplane. Hang on.
Which one? The one closest to the Capitol building?
Hang on, let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's an airplane.
But the one in the middle,
that's an airplane. You can see it moving.
Yeah.
The one to the right, or over here.
The one going behind the Capitol building is not an airplane.
Or over here. That's an airplane. Okay.
Yeah, over there is, but look at that one.
And I'm saying, like, when you look to the left of the Capitol,
that one's
those are not moving.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. They're here.
Can we go back in the car? God.
They're here, Ella.
Okay. Heck.
In March 2012, astronomers reported an unusual sighting of a UFO larger than Jupiter hovering near the Sun for 24 hours straight, absorbing plasma. Despite initial skepticism, images from NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory confirmed the event. Scientists were baffled by the object's massive size and ability to withstand the intense heat and radiation of the Sun. Some speculated that it could be an alien spacecraft or a natural phenomenon yet to be discovered. What do you think? Leave a comment.
And this happened about 2 hours ago in Riverview, Florida. We've got 2 orbs, you can see them very clearly, and a military helicopter chasing you. This is the first time I've seen other aircraft other than these drones following these orbs. But yeah, chasing it I don't know if it can't keep up, but they don't seem to be going incredibly fast. But yeah, Riverview, Florida.
Look at the alien invasion, y'all.
There's no alien invasion.
Yes, it is an alien invasion. What is it? Look at them. They moving in circles at the top. See, the formation on the right, and then they got another formation in the middle, and another formation on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens
What?
do exist. They don't live with us.
Let me see.
Mira, mira, mira. Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
The light then flies across the base, across the flight line, and as it flies to me, a triangle manifests around the light. I can't tell you if it's active camouflage, I can't tell you if it appeared around the light, but I can tell you that it was a white light, and then it was a triangle. It stopped about 100 feet in front of me and approximately 100 feet above me. My telephone got extremely hot, completely froze, dead. I remember how thick it was. It was between 1 to 2 stories thick, equilateral triangle. I could never see the top of it, and the edges were 90 degrees. There were 4 lights in total, 1 light on each corner, and a larger light in the center, 2 to 3 times the size of the corner lights. But what was really odd was the outside. The best way to describe it is like looking at a James Webb telescope picture, where you have the colors and then the black background. So the craft itself was this black metallic flake paint, but on top of the craft was this gold, lava, plasma, some type of fluid going over and around the craft. I'm under this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then the center light flashes 2 to 3 times, no sound, immediately shoots up to commercial jet level minimum, in my opinion. And I immediately feel static electricity all over my body, and then I smell the smell of after a thunderstorm or lightning storm.
You received intelligence that suggests that there are perhaps deep water alien bases right now sitting on the ocean floor on this planet. Is that accurate?
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Can you go into more detail? How long have they been here? Where are they?
Well, I'm extrapolating all this with my East Tennessee vernacular. So we've got five or six deep water areas of our oceans, and these are areas where we have a high frequency of UFO or UAP sightings. We've had naval folks have told me pretty high up that they've actually tracked these things. We've tracked things big as a football field going 200 miles an hour. 200 miles an hour, something the size of a football field. And we don't know what it is. And these are in these areas. So yeah, there's something going on there. And whether it's something that's been here for millennial or whatever, I always remember the last thing this one high-ranking official told me as he left my office. He was right close to me as I am to my phone in my barn right now. And he said, Tim, they're real.
What if these are entities that are here on this earth, that have been on this earth, that for who knows how long, and that we think they're coming in from way out. Maybe they did millennia ago, but they're here and they're in these deep water areas.
Saucer-shaped UFOs are back, ladies and gentlemen, and apparently we caught a high-definition one in Colombia, right? So let me dive into this footage for you, explain a little bit what's going on, and then give some of my thoughts on it, because it's kind of profound. This footage filmed in Colombia has been branded the clearest images in Colombian ufology, right? And there was 2 girls filming this strange phenomena unfold, apparently. The 2 girls who captured this video experienced their phones turning off, like the Buga and Jumbo spheres. This UFO flew at a low altitude and close to the power lines, much like the Buga sphere that was sighted. And now this footage is flying around the internet like wild right now. So the only thing that we have that I kind of struggle with this at the minute, there's no testimony from the person and no original video that has edits, right? And we need to kind of have the raw data and footage to really analyze what's going on here and to check the authenticity of what we're seeing, right? And good footage like this needs to come with an original file and analyzed before any of us kind of back it. Now, I'll give them their dues. When you do have actual genuine UFO anomaly being filmed in close contact, things like cameras and recorders can glitch out, shut themselves off, and even break in certain instances. So this is something that does happen and has been recorded previously, but whether that's genuine, what's happening here, again, open to interpretation, I guess. And the only other thing is how the camera's shaking and that they're kind of filming this thing, looking at the floor, then apparently it's cutting out and then they're re-recording it, taking photos and so forth. But then again, you've got to put yourself in his shoes. If you're that close to a genuine anomalous encounter, your adrenaline's going to be through the roof, and I don't think you're going to be thinking correctly. So, but in my opinion, I feel we need a bit more information on what's going on here. We need to talk to the actual girls. They need to come forward. Let us analyze the data and the footage and go from there. But this video is going like wildfire across the internet right now. So you guys let me know what you think, man.
The monster has awakened. Right now, as you listen to this, a dark wound on the surface of the sun stretches wider than 130,000 kilometers across. That is 10 times the diameter of Earth, and it is pointing directly at us. What makes this terrifying is not its size alone. It is that we have seen something almost identical before. In 1859, a sunspot of nearly the same proportions unleashed what scientists now call the Carrington event, the most devastating solar storm in recorded human history. Telegraph lines caught fire. Operators were electrocuted at their stations. The night sky over the Caribbean glowed red with auroras that had no business being there. Now, 166 years later, we're staring at its twin. But here is what keeps scientists awake at night. In 1859, the world ran on steam and copper wire. Today, our civilization floats on satellites, pulses through fiber optic cables, and breathes through power grids that stretch across continents. A Carrington-class event striking Earth tomorrow would not just inconvenience us, it would erase the infrastructure of a modern life. The estimated damage exceeds $2 trillion. The blackouts could last not hours, not days, but years. And the sunspot that could trigger all of this is active right now, hurling plasma into space, building energy with every passing hour. By the time this documentary ends, you will understand exactly what we are facing, why the next few weeks matter more than any other moment in the last decade of solar observation, and what the scientific community is too afraid to say out loud. Before we begin, always remember to like this video. It tells your algorithm that you love these topics and that you want more content just like this. And if you enjoy our calming deep dives into the mysteries of the cosmos, do not forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Now tell me in the comments, where are you listening from right now? What time is it there? And have you ever witnessed a solar storm or aurora in your lifetime? I'm always curious to hear your stories. Now let us step into the fire. The sun does not sleep. We think of our star as this constant, reliable presence, rising each morning and setting each evening with mechanical predictability. But that image is a comforting illusion. The reality is far more violent. Beneath that golden disk lies a churning ocean of plasma, a sphere of hydrogen and helium undergoing constant nuclear fusion, at temperatures exceeding 15 million degrees Celsius in its core, and on its surface, where temperatures drop to a mere 5,500 degrees, something strange emerges from time to time. Dark patches, cooler regions where intense magnetic field lines have become so concentrated, so tangled, that they actually inhibit the convective flow of heat from below. We call these sunspots, and they are the birthplaces of chaos. On November 28th, 2025, something extraordinary rotated into view on the sun's eastern limb. Astronomers watching their monitors noticed a dark region emerging, but as hours passed, it became clear this was no ordinary sunspot. It kept coming and coming. It took more than 2 full days for the entire structure to rotate fully onto the Earth-facing side of the sun. When it finally revealed itself in its entirety, the scientific community fell silent. The complex, now designated AR 4294-4296, spans an area so vast that NOAA was forced to split it into 3 separate numbered regions simply because their classification systems could not handle its scale. 130,000 kilometers of magnetically tortured solar surface, multiple cores, each one the size of Earth, and at its heart, a magnetic configuration so complex that scientists have given it the most dangerous designation possible, Beta Gamma Delta. Think about that for a moment. We have classification systems specifically designed to tell us how likely a sunspot is to explode, and this one has earned the highest threat level we can assign. Beta Gamma Delta means the magnetic field lines within this region are not merely complex, they are chaotically intertwined, twisted around each other like snakes fighting in a bag.
Okay, I know I'm not tripping, but is this a whole alien space fleet that's just like full-on gallivanting in the sky right now? Like, I don't know if I should be worried, if I should run, or if I should even tape this, but what in God's green earth is going on right now? And it looks kind of like something is in the air. Okay. You guys, this is really freaking me out. I'm not gonna lie. And no, there's no like light show or anything. What in the world? Oh my gosh. This is very strange. Oh my gosh.
This drone footage was recorded by Christian on May 3rd in Norway. He managed to capture a rapidly moving object on the right side of the screen. The acceleration of the craft is astounding. It seems to go from 0 to several hundred miles per hour within seconds. The lights take off simultaneously, so they may be part of the same craft. Airplanes don't accelerate from a standstill in the sky like this.
Like, look how nuts the sky looks right now. Look how busy it is. You're gonna tell me that not one of those is a UFO? There's so many.
The Sphinx, which is obviously one of the most amazing structures of the ancient world, the Egyptians don't talk about it. They don't know when it was built or why, and it's just odd. Imagine talking about New York and never mentioning the Statue of Liberty in your literature. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Here's why it's interesting that you brought up the Sphinx, because the temple of the Sphinx is the best evidence that it's older than people think it is. You see the walls on the outside?
Yeah.
Those lines are a clear sign of water erosion. You don't get that kind of erosion from sand and wind. Those type of fissures are only created from water, from thousands of years of rainfall. The last time there was rain in the Nile Valley was like 9,000 years ago. So it had to be thousands of years older than that. When they first found these fissures, they were like, there's no way, there's no evidence of any culture that existed that was sophisticated that long ago. Where's the culture? Where's the evidence? Well, now they have evidence.
What's the biggest real conspiracy ever uncovered? Charlemagne's father, Pepin the Short, invaded Italy in the 8th century, and what happened next involves the most significant and long-lasting fraud in history. You see, Pepin invaded Italy in order to save the Pope from the Lombards, but even though they were allies, the Pope was afraid that Pepin would eventually desire all of Italy for himself. This was a problem because the popes have been acting as the de facto rulers of central Italy ever since the fall of the Roman Empire. But now if the church wasn't careful, they could lose their independence and end up once more subordinate to a secular power. Fearing this, the church presented Pepin with a document known as the Donation of Constantine. They claimed that 400 years earlier, the first Christian Roman Emperor Constantine the Great had written this document, granting dominion of the city of Rome and its surrounding territories to the Pope and his successors. Pepin chose to honor this agreement, and this became the legal basis for the creation of the Papal States, whose existence would shape the face of Europe for the next 1,000 years. This document was believed to be authentic for the entirety of the Middle Ages, but new evidence came to light in the 15th century, and now even the Catholic Church accepts that the donation of Constantine was the most significant and consequential forgery in history.
The hidden symbols in Da Vinci's art that reveal a conspiracy. What if I told you that all of Da Vinci's works have a secret message? A message that could change everything you know about history, religion, and power. And the scariest thing? It's right in front of you, but you never realized it. Look at the Mona Lisa. That mysterious smile isn't just art. It's a code. Look at her eyes. The details of the setting, even the position of her hands. Everything was painted with a purpose. And it's not just her. The Last Supper? That biblical scene hides something much deeper. Why are Jesus and the disciples arranged in such a strange way? Why are there so many mathematical and astrological symbols hidden there? And why has the Vatican tried to censor some of these works? Da Vinci wasn't just a genius, he was a man who knew too much. And his paintings, they are a map. A map that leads to a secret so great that could shake the foundations of the world. Want to find out more? Then stay until the end, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. And if you think this is just theory, wait until you see the next proof. Now tell me in the comments, which work by Da Vinci do you think hides the greatest mystery? Leave a like if you want more revelations like this, and follow the page so you don't miss what's coming. Because the next videos will blow your mind. Share with anyone who needs to know the truth. And remember, not everything is as it seems.
That was awful. I was totally terrified now. And the leaves of different realities all around me. I could look into the future. And the present is right here in each of those, and it goes on out to many years from now. It goes to infinity upward. And it's a tremendous amount of power going through this.
He was known as the man who fractured reality and returned to reveal what lies beyond its edge. His name was Dr. John C. Lilly, a scientist once honored within the halls of medicine, before venturing into realms no one else dared to tread.
In the province of mind, what one believes to be true either is true or becomes true within certain limits. These limits are to be found experimentally and experientially. When so found, these limits turn out to be further beliefs to be transcended.
Lilly insisted the mind was far more than mere thought or imagination. To him, it was a realm and infinite expanse of heavens and hells, inhabited by presences that whispered in patterns too deliberate to be dismissed as chance. He described entire realities unfurled before him, as though the universe were a vast library, each corridor leading to another version of existence. To most, his visions sounded like delusion, the ramblings of a man who had strayed too far. But Lilly never faltered. He maintained that he had crossed beyond the known boundaries of reality itself. And what he brought back was not illusion, not fantasy, but a warning.
You've probably devoted your whole life, and certainly many decades recently, to pushing to see, what really were the limits.
Right.
Going into new realities, taking on the belief systems of those realities, and then coming back to your basic working reality and challenging those beliefs, integrating those beliefs
right.
with your own. In your writings, you've explored almost every state of consciousness I could imagine. You've established probably a more significant mapping of inner space than almost any other modern person, and I think we all owe a great debt to you for that.
I don't get stuck with those. I've abandoned all of them. It's impossible. Because there are infinities within the mind.
Dr. John C. Lilly was never one to stay inside the lines. Once a trusted neuroscientist for the National Institutes of Health, he began as a respected researcher of the brain, human behavior, even dolphins. But then he turned his instruments inward, into the hidden depths of the mind. That choice changed everything. What he described no longer sounded like science, but something far stranger, like stepping beyond reality itself. Lilly became known for a single maxim. In the province of the mind, what one believes to be true either is true or becomes true. To him, belief didn't just influence reality, it created it.
There's one use of language that's valid. That's the injunctive use, telling you how to do things. The descriptive one is very poor. And William James said it. The other world is a separation from this one by the thinnest of screens. And I found this screen is language. So you have to abandon it when you're going to these other realities.
If a belief was held strongly enough, it became the very framework of life. But each belief carried a hidden limit, a wall. And when that wall was broken, another layer of reality emerged.